K-Pos, everybody. This is Nick at the Goose, and I'm here with Aaron.
What's going on, everybody?
It's Sunday the 22nd. We're coming off a really nasty northeast blow, and northeast winds bring change, and the surf has been hot as hell. Aaron's been getting in on some albies. I've been getting in some bass action, and today we're going to talk about what we've been doing, what we've been using, and how we've been doing. So, you, young man, have been off the last couple of days chasing albies. How'd you make out?
Oh, good. Been getting on them in the kayak. It's been good, like kind of mid-morning out there.
And this young man is afflicted, if you can't tell.
The bait is super, super, super small, and you cannot match the hatch. At least that's my theory. So I've been trying to go big and stand out. Pink and chartreuse. And then I've been doing best on this color wave here with the lime.
Yeah, that line
the
below,
chartreuse.
that chartreuse. I've found that for me, I'm running into more bonito than I have been albies, and big blue and big lime over glow. Has been the ticket for me getting bit. I just haven't been seeing the albies where I've been.
Right.
But you're fishing sound side, right?
Yeah, on the sound side. Yeah, in the kayak. Yeah, it was blowing, but luckily the fish were in close enough, and got on them pretty good on.
And I think that's the big tip, since we have a prolonged forecast period of northeast winds. That sound side, you don't have to be geared up for anything special. You're in the lee of the land, and you can use light tackle. I've been throwing the 5000 Saltiga on the 7.7, and I've spooled up my 5000 Saltiga with 15-pound Power Pro Onyx, the black super slick, and this little 7.7. Wind or not, I can throw an 1.5 ounce epoxy 150 yards with little to no effort. I also have a 4000 Saltex 2 paired up to a 9.7 Saltex if I'm throwing bigger stuff. And we talk about effortless distance. I have 20 pounds spooled up on my 4000 Saltex, and I can get any plug out a great distance. And when Aaron's on the beach, he's throwing a Nasky 5000 paired up to an 8'7" Saltex for his heavy epoxies, bucktails, metals, and poppers, spooks, metal, swimming plugs like SPs. So with the northeast wind, if you're fishing sound side, you can fish all your normal equipment. If you're fishing the Atlantic beaches, Cape Cod Natural Seashore, going up to the point, that's when you need the heavy gear to fight that northeast if it's blowing over 20-25 miles an hour. But this young man has been hammering them on the kayak.
Yeah.
And what's your setup on the kayak this past week?
GCX with 3K Stratic.
So what power was your Loomis?
It's rated 1/4 to 5/8.
Okay, so it's a light power rod.
So it's light, yeah. So that throws the Albie snacks. That's the go-to Albie snack rod.
Gotcha.
And then I got the 4K Nasky on the Daiwa Procyon, which is rated up to 3/4 of an ounce.
A little bit heavier.
Yeah, but I'm throwing these 1 ounce epoxies, no problem.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
No problem.
That's cool. So how many albies have you gotten in the last couple of days?
7.
That's 7 better than me. How many bonito?
I haven't seen any bonito.
This guy got 2 the other morning. So he's got more albies, I got more bonito. So I'm eating better than you are.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so what's your favorite albie bait this time of year? Since this is prime time for Cape Cod false albacore, what would you say if you were going out on the kayak, if you had to bring one bait, what are you bringing?
I'm going with this guy right now. He has that's what's been getting it done all year. If you got to cast into the wind, you need that kind of epoxy to cast into them. Those feeds, they don't stay up that long,
No,
they're albies, come on. And you got to make a cast into them, and you want to get that distance even in the kayak,
How are you finding your hookup ratios with the our TMF hardtail epoxies? These are the BKK Lone Diablo. I believe they're size 1.0.
I'm getting great hook sets. I lost one fish this week.
Okay.
I lost one.
Gotcha.
I fought him for a bit, got him close to the boat, and he dropped off. Not really sure why, but I'm getting really nice hook sets, like right in the cheek every time. And Hook's coming out easy too.
See,
Love the single hook.
what I find, this is a pile of my baits here. So on the topic of single hooks, they're better for you, they're better for the fish, and in some instances, they can bring out some really cool new attributes of staple lures. So this is a Yozuri Twitchbait, one of the most popular surf plugs on the market, whether you're on a kayak, whether you're on the beach, whether you're on the inlet. These are some of the best baits. Problem being is if you fish skinny water, they tend to sink a little quick. And if you're fishing the flats and there's aquatic vegetation that kind of settles toward the bottom, you'll get fouled up and hung up. What we found is if you nix the treble hooks and move to, these are size 10 BKK Lone Sniper singles, they rust quick, but they don't really lose any strength. It's all surface, right? It's not doing any integrity to damaging the integrity of the hook. So you're not going to be cracking or breaking hooks. And these hooks here, they've been hit with pliers a bunch of times. This now becomes a slow float bait instead of a sink bait, right? So now you can fish this much slower, and it's only going to run about 6 to 10 inches deep. This bait here, a little bit smaller, same deal. Now, if you don't want to deal with the nasty looking rust, if you go with the Lone Diablo in a size 2.0, instead of a slow float, the Lone Diablo 2.0, which matches the same exact size as a 1.0 Lone Sniper, don't want to get you confused, but there's a little bit of difference in hook sizing. The 2.0 Lone Diablo makes this a very slow float or even a suspend, depending on water temperature. So you have the freshwater twitch bait, which is this one here, which I think is their best color. It really looks like a small peanut bunker. And when the real small peanuts or the medium-sized peanuts are around, you have this one. Same color, freshwater bait. Everybody's throwing bone. Everybody's throwing pearl. These are the new freshwater colors that I think are some of the best looking saltwater colors I've ever come across. These are the new tsunami twitch baits. These are much heavier. This is a 1.4 ounce lure. There's nothing you can do to get it to slow float or slow sink. But if you're fishing heavy northeast winds and you want a compact bait, 1.4 ounces for this small size won't kite up to the surface when you have a heavy left to right wind that puts that blows that belly of the line down the beach and almost forces your bait to come back, maybe kick it on the side and plane back up. This heavy bait stays planted even in rough surf. So where you would normally be throwing super strike bottle plugs and darters, you can now get away with a kind of a clacky, noisy glide bait in the surf. And this has been getting beat up by bass and blues. This is the bait fish color. So this is brand new, just hit about 2 weeks ago, and it's already getting rashed up. Tsunami Title Pro Twitch Bait. This is the 4-inch. And since we're on singles, I brought out one of the small lure company's newest releases. Merv from Strategic Angler came out with injection molded bait. Out of the box comes with BKK split rings, BKK Lone Diablo. I believe they're 3.0s. It's a tuna grade popper. My buddy Kevin and my buddy Tom got yellowfin up to 60 pounds on it just during the testing phases. I've got bass on, this is their bunker color. I think it's got the best paint job in the business as far as I'm concerned. Merv is an artist, and this is what he's instructed the factory to do, and he did an excellent job. I've got bass up to about 15 pounds, 39, 40 inches on it. It will gurgle more than it'll bloop. It leaves a hard bubble trail. But one of the most important aspects of any popper is they stay planted and they don't tumble and foul. A lot of poppers out there, if you get a little too excited or if you rip it too hard, it's going to keel forward and kind of roll. And then your line's going to get stuck on the bend of the hook here, and then you have to reel it in, and you just lost out on a cast. Very, very, very stable under any retrieve, even if you're pulling it out of the lip of a wave. I haven't really had it foul at all. And great hooks, great geometry on these BKK Lone Diablos. Once that fish gets hung up on that point, it kind of wants to rotate in and finish past the barb. So they're really good hooks, super strong, tuna grade out of the box. They resist corrosion very well. You can see there's a patina. You can see the split rings actually showing sign of corrosion, whereas the hook and the hook eye aren't. Excellent stuff. 25 bucks, probably the best value in heavy duty baits that are built to perform. They cast like a bullet. If you use heavy braid, they don't spiral a corkscrew. If you're using like 15 or 20 pound braid like I've been using, with no resistance coming off the spool lip. If you don't time the cast right, they'll kind of swirl a little bit, but you can still get it to go 80 yards, no problem. For an 1.5 ounce bait, that's pretty darn good. So, Sir Aaron, anything else you want to add? I know I kind of hijacked the mic to talk about the gear, but yeah, I kind of get chatty once I get going.
All good. No, yeah, we still got northeast wind coming, and get out there and
The
catch
fishing's
them up.
been real good, guys.
Yeah.
If you don't mind braving the conditions, find sheltered beaches, stay in the lee of the wind, get out there. There's fish, all bluefish, bonita, albies, striped bass, even in this crazy. I was out sopping wet, and we saw Joey Mangiafico with a 4-pack charter. He's on the beach fly casting.
Yeah.
Blowing 45 mile an hour out of the northeast. He was in the lee of the wind, sound side, and they had, I think, 6 striped bass. They had a shot at albies from the beach. Now, again, northeast winds, easterly facing beaches. You definitely want to gear up a little bit more for the heavier stuff because you got to punch into that wind. You're throwing 2-ounce bucktails, 3-ounce bucktails in big surf, especially fishing Race Point where you got to hit deep water. If you're fishing like Nauset Beach, Cape Cod National Seashore, 1.5-ounce bucktails punch for the wind. This glide bait, as mentioned earlier, punches nicely. There's a 5-inch version that's over 2 ounces. That punches well. We have all the super strike sinking little neck poppers. We have darters. We have SS bullets that'll get down. You have Savage Ear sand eels that'll get down. All those nasty weather, cranking, snotty condition surf baits, they'll get you bit. And they'll get you bit into some of the nastiest, snottiest conditions. And don't forget, if you're fishing the nasty stuff, especially if the wind's blowing in your face, you're also going to have sea foam flying at you at 20 miles an hour. That's where a sealed reel like this that doesn't mind getting sanded up. This is, again, the Saltex 2 4000. You don't want to have a reel, say, like the Saltiga, that doesn't mind the water, but it doesn't like sand at all. I found numerous times the line roller gets a little crispy with the sand. The sand will accumulate in the knob. You can actually shake it out like a salt shaker. And the sand will get up in here, and if there's any ferrous metal, it'll get stuck in the mag seal ball bearing on there. Other than that, it's a flawless reel. It doesn't mind water at all. It just doesn't like sand, and it's a pleasure to fish, albeit a little expensive considering its limitations. This is something you want to keep high and dry on the boat. But I think I'm going to end it here before I talk your ear out any longer. And this is Nick saying goodbye. One more time because my phone stopped recording.
All right. Tight lines, guys. Have a great day.